Oh yes, when you do this one, when you do these sort of questions, we're using the auxiliary method. Do you remember the auxiliary method?
Yeah, that.
Okay, cool. So let me just go through the auxiliary method with you. What is it? So I'll have to remember this. So sine x minus root 3 cos x equals to 2. So let me just go through this. So you got sine x, and that's a 1, by the way, minus root 3 cos x equals to 2. And we've got to solve that between 0 and 360 degrees. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Now, when we're doing questions like this, right, what we're looking for is we want to turn that into something that looks like the compound angle formula, right? So the compound angle formula for sine is, so the compound angle formula for sine is sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to make that bit equal to that bit. We want to make that bit equal to that bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we want to make that bit equal to that bit and that bit equal to that bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So in other words, if that's the case, we can actually turn this into an expression where, right, here we go. So you could have, for example, all right, so basically what we're doing is imagine if we also put like another letter R there and R there, right? So we've got R cos alpha equals to 1 and R sine alpha equals to root 3. Does that make sense? Because we're saying that sine beta is going to be equal to this root 3. And we're going to make, it should be in brackets sine beta like that. Okay? And cos beta is going to equal to this 1. Okay? So we've got this and this, right? Now, that means that cosine alpha is going to be 1 on R, and then sine alpha is going to be root 3 on R. Does that make sense? Basically, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a right angle triangle, right? And that's going to be your alpha. Got it? This side, your cos alpha is going to be 1. Yep. Your sine alpha, which is your opposite over hypotenuse, is going to be root 3. And you're going to have some hypotenuse, which is going to be R. Does that make sense? Now, what would the hypotenuse be for this triangle? Which is 2. Yep. What else? What else do we know about, in particular, alpha? Alpha is going to be equal to what angle? Have a look. Do these numbers look familiar? 1, 2, root 3.
Oh, 60.
Yeah, 60. So alpha is going to be pi on 3. Does that make sense?
Why did you say pi?
Oh, hang on. Don't worry, it's going to be 60, right? You haven't learnt. There's another way of describing angles, and that's not using degrees, but using something else called radians. Yeah, I'm jumping the gun. It's 60 degrees. Got it? Yeah. Later on, we'll talk about another way of describing angles, and 60 degrees can be pi on 3 as well. Okay. And yeah, but you don't have to worry about that. You'll learn that next year. Okay. So 60 degrees is the right answer. So here's what you've got. R is equal to 2. So let's divide um, everything by 2, right? What you'll end up with is 1 on 2 sine x minus root 3 on 2 cos x equals to 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, what that also is going to be is, let's have a look. Cos 60 degrees sine x, does that make sense? Minus sine 60 degrees cos x equals to 1. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at that, that very much mimics the compound angle formula for sine, right? So all of this is going to be equal to sine of x minus 60, I think it is. Am I right or am I wrong?
I haven't checked.
I think it's sine x minus 60 in this situation. Yep. Does that make sense? But it is the compound angle formula for sine, which is this thing here. Got it? Now, um, what would x minus 60 actually be? What would x minus 60 actually be? It would be the inverse sine of 1, right? Which ends up being what angles? Yes, 90. Yep. What other angles? Minus 270?
Between zero.
Sorry?
Oh, wait, not yet.
Yep.
Okay.
So minus 270, what else? 3. Let's have a look. 360, which is 450.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And they're just some examples of different answers that you can have, right?
Yep.
What would x be equal to? So it'd be plus 60, right? X would be equal to 150 because it's 90 plus 60.
Yep.
What else could it be? Minus 270 plus 60, which is minus 210. Got it? And then this one here could be 540 degrees. Got it? Now, which one of these, or how many of these three angles are between 0, x, and 360?
One.
One. Which one's that? The first one, right? So that's your answer. Yep, because that's what fits inside that domain. But does that make sense?
Yep.
With the auxiliary angle formula, you're using the compound angle formula for sine or cos, and you've got some value r, which is going to act as your, what do you call it? Your hypotenuse. Got it? Yeah. Good.